So today we're going to talk about natural disasters, and I have an article for us to read so we can practice reading out loud, and we'll learn some vocabulary, and then we're going to talk about the future. So we get to talk about the past and what happened in 2012 with record storms and heat waves, and see what else happened. And then we'll talk about the future. So what might happen in 2013? And we'll make some predictions. Hello. All right, welcome to class, everyone. Okay. So is everyone able to access the article that I posted under our class resources?
Where the article, teacher?
I don't know how to, hold on, classes. I'm not really sure how to access it from here, but I can post it in chat for us. So I'll post the link here, and so you can follow it.
I don't see the link.
It's under group chat. You have to click on the chat icon. It's on your left-hand side.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Okay. So is everyone there? Or is anyone having a problem? Okay. Awesome. So would someone like to read the beginning, so the first paragraph?
Yes, me.
Okay, great, Manuel.
So, super typhoon, droughts, wildfires, and several cold snaps were just a few of the highlights. Follow.
And then so read the first line underneath the picture, and then all the way to the end of the first paragraph, which ends with exceeding 60 billion.
From unprecedented drought cold to 2012 was a year of weather extreme. In 2022, in 2012, the United States suffered 11 weather-related events that cost $1 billion apiece. According to the preliminary list released on December 20 by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, economic losses for Hurricane Sandy and the year-long drought are still being calculated, but NOAA estimates 2012 will surpass 2011 in terms of aggregated cost for disaster, exceeding 16 billion.
Yeah. So just one thing. So when you pronounce words that end with ed, so in the past tense, it's not suffered, but it's suffered. So just remember to pronounce. You don't pronounce the ed. You just pronounce either a D sound or a T sound, depending on the word. But good job. Just to work on pronunciation. So I guess what I want to go over, I know some of you are in my weather class earlier. Just the vocabulary at the beginning. Okay, so we have super typhoons, droughts, wildfires, severe cold snaps were just a few of the highlights. Can anyone describe these? Maybe Hamdi or Gustavo, I think you were in my weather class before. So what's a typhoon?
Typhoon is like a storm, a strong storm.
A strong storm?
Yes.
Is it on weather? I mean, is it on water, land, or both?
In water.
Yeah. So we'll describe it as a tropical storm. What about a drought?
When it doesn't rain for a long time.
Yeah, so when it doesn't rain for a long time. Wildfire? So what is a wildfire?
I tell you. Wildfire. Wildfire is when the forest, for example, is burning.
When the forest or brush is burning, okay? And then whatever some a cold snap. So do we know what a cold snap is?
No.
It's when it's oh yep, go ahead. Someone start.
No, sorry, no.
Okay, so when it's severely cold for a long period in time. So if some of you saw my weather class, China in 2012, so last year, they had the coldest winter they've ever had. So that has ever been recorded. So that's a cold snap, which is the opposite of a heat wave. Which is extreme heat for a period of time, resulting usually in drought. So no rain. All right. Okay, so those were just a few natural disasters that happened last year in 2012. All right. So what was this first paragraph telling us? What about these costs is significant? So why is the first paragraph significant?
Sorry, what is that paragraph? I just joined the Hangout.
Yep. It's under class resources, or I'll post the link in chat for you. Edit. Crap.
Sorry, I didn't see link.
Yep. Okay. I'm posting now.
Yes, thanks.
Ars Mont Saint Michel. This is the paragraph.
No.
What is it?
No, it's wrong.
So, my teacher, what paragraph do you say?
Mont Saint Michel to Paris.
Oh crap! It's not copying the right one. Wait, what? Nope, that should be. It should say, the link should say mn.com. Oh, yeah, what happens before, sometimes my browser hasn't been changing over, so I may have copied the wrong
Are you
link.
going to Paris, Laura?
I live there, sorry. Sorry about that. But in our class chat, it should post, and I had a student ask me why I'm not using Verbling chat. And that's because it would be too overwhelming. Most people in the Verbling chat aren't paying attention in class. So they're just chatting. So I'll post the link there for them to follow along. Here we go. Okay. Sorry about that. All right, so now does everyone have the link?
Yes.
And then I want to talk about this paragraph here.
Yes.
That I'm posting. So it's in 2012, the United States suffered 11 weather-related events. So we're just talking about the U.S. Because this is an American website. Okay.
Okay.
Dime, teacher.
So my question is, why is this first paragraph significant? What is it telling us about these natural disasters?
Yeah, I think I can. Yeah, this paragraph is talking about the damage of a national of disaster. That's cost around $1 billion on 2012.
Yeah, exactly. So it's telling us the cost, the price, the damage and costs, prices of these natural disasters.
Yes. The monetary costs.
16 billion.
And this should just be for the US. One sec. If you're watching my video on repeat, can you mute your mic? Sorry, I may have to mute you. Okay. Nope. Oh. All right.
Yeah, it's clear now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we're just talking about the cost here. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. And what else? What about these prices? Are they more expensive or less expensive than previous years?
More expensive.
Yeah, so what's happening is the costs of these disasters have increased. And what's happening is we're not as good at predicting the weather because of what is happening to our planet. The weather has become more unpredictable and more radical, so more extreme. So what is happening to our planet? So weather conditions are different and more extreme. And the article will talk about that a little bit more. So can anyone continue the next two paragraphs?
Can I?
Yes.
From severe weather?
Severe weather, yep.
Yes. Severe weather disaster hit beyond the United States too, as super typhoons slammed into Asia and a cold snap froze Europe's rivers. Globally, countries battle heat waves and droughts. The World Meteorological Organization projects 2012 to be the warmest year on record since 1850, even with the cooling effects of La Niña in the early months, and 2013 could be even hotter, the WMO estimates.
Yeah, so I know you're from Colombia, so can you explain La Niña to the class? Are you able to do that for us, Gustavo?
Okay, well, La Niña is a phenomenon that is related with a lot of rain.
Okay.
Rain a lot. In some period of the year that it not used to.
Okay. Are temperatures warmer or cooler during La Niña?
It's raining a lot, but the temperature I don't know.
It's warmer.
Okay.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah, it's colder. So we'll talk about El Nino, which is the opposite. So more rain, colder. and it has to do with the pattern of the ocean. So what we're talking about with La Nina and El Nino, which that pattern of that water is actually controlling all of our weather throughout the world, which I always find very interesting, that something so small in one part of the world has a huge effect on the temperatures of North and South America and Europe, as well as the storms that we have, and the temperature and the wind that we have, the wind patterns. I know for those regions, La Nina and El Nino have a huge effect. So can anyone help describe El Nino?
I would like to say I live in Canary Island, very far from Colombia. When the La Nina appear, there are a lot of rain, and the temperature is low. When if the Nino is here, or the Nino is acting, is the opposite of La Nina. There's raining and more hot. The water is hot.
Okay. So maybe both are associated with rain. I can't find any I don't see anything that says rain along these. I just see what you said, which is the opposite effect, which is warmer temperatures. Warmer temperatures. Okay, and usually these periods of time, it's not maybe half the year, but it's about 5 months, the website I'm using says, which is interesting. So for a period of time, we can be strongly affected by these. And El Nino, or La Nina, it says is not always followed by El Nino. So that's also different. I don't know why though.
I know that there are a period of time of 4 years between day. First La Nina, 4 years before the Nino. I think is more or less is so.
So I did finally find something about rain. So we can think of La Nina as rain, colder temperatures, and El Nino warmer, and it causes dry periods, so drought. So we can think of those two as opposites, and they're controlling the world's weather patterns. All right. All right, so this was just an introduction, these 2 paragraphs, into the article. So it listed a few disasters that happened. Can we name any of them? So what happened to Asia and what happened to Europe? Anyone able?
The winter.
Mm-hmm.
The winter is more strong.
Yeah, so the winter is colder. And what happened in Europe?
Froze.
Yeah, so in Europe last year, the rivers froze. And it's very uncommon for water that is moving to freeze. So rivers freezing is a big deal. That's an extreme weather condition. And what happened in Asia?
So, but typhoon.
Yeah, so a typhoon. And then they mention heat waves and droughts just across the world. All right. And what about the U.S.? What was the record? So we did have a hurricane, Hurricane Sandy. What else? What specifically happened that has not happened since 1850?
The weather was more hot.
Yeah.
More warm.
So we say we had record-breaking hot temperatures. What we're saying is they literally broke the record from 1850, which had been the warmest year on record, and now it is 2012. And I can definitely agree with that. This summer was brutal. All right. So would anyone like to read the next two paragraphs?
Me.
Great.
Cold clouds and hot highs, yeah? Winter extremes include January's record snowfall in Alaska, which hit us the rest of the country centered around in the church, yeah? In February, Europe suffered through a cold snap that killed hundreds of people and froze the continent's rivers and canals, interrupting commerce. Can I continue? Or?
Yes, please. So finish this paragraph.
Until separate storms? Oh, okay. And early, April are to tornado season rise fears of another devastating series of twists, as happened in 2011. But this year, the funnest fills out. I don't know how to pronounce this word.
Fizzled?
Result? Okay. In the end, 2012 may go down as the year with the fewest tornadoes on record.
Okay.
Stop, yeah.
Yep. So we'll just stop here so we can kind of understand what happened. So is there any vocabulary you would like explained?
Snowfall is...
Record snowfalls. So the amount of snow on the ground.
Okay. But why do they put the word fault? Yeah.
That's just the number of times it snowed. Number of times. Oops, that was not the correct. So the number of times it snowed, and how many inches. For us, inches, it snowed. How many inches they accumulated. So for us, when we say record snowfalls, it refers to two things. One being, did it snow 6 times in December, or did it snow every day? And then the second being, we had record snowfalls of 75 inches. So something along those lines of 6 feet, which happens in Buffalo, New York. So it refers to the two. Any other vocabulary?
Can I try?
Sauntered. What meaning of sauntered is it?
Sauntered. Hold on.
Second line.
Yep. Which hit as the rest of the country sauntered around in t-shirts. So that's the idea to laze around in, to wear in a relaxed manner, So you can use sauntered, or you can use lazed, which means you're not doing anything very quickly, and you're maybe laying outside in the sun, or you're sitting inside trying to cool off. You're moving slowly, so you're sauntering. You can also say dawdling.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
When the text say the country is centered around in T-shirt. What is this mean?
So winter's extremes included January's record snowfall in Alaska. So in January of 2012, Alaska had a ton of snow, which hit, so it happened as the rest of the country, so as the rest of America sweat during the heat wave. So the rest of the country was very hot, so they're giving you an image. So as the rest of the country wore t-shirts and sweat all day is the image, and while Alaska froze.
Alaska froze and the other part is hot.
Yeah, exactly. Because during Alaska is like Canada, they shouldn't have a lot of snow in the winter. It should be a moderate. Yeah. So getting snow in, July is common, but getting a ton of snow, a few feet of snow.
But Alaska, I think it's froze all year round.
Yeah. So they receive snow, maybe a few inches, a few centimeters in July, but they don't receive a meter of snow in July, which is what happened this year. They had extreme amounts.
In January?
They're talking about the summer.
Uh-huh.
So I know parts of Alaska thaw and parts don't, and that definitely depends on the weather and pattern of the year. So like what temperatures are coming up the coast.
Oh.
So the wind, the rain, snow, that comes up the coast. But yeah, Alaska's not warm by any means. All right. So that was a good question because it is an image, a little difficult to understand. And then does anyone understand what happened in April in the US?
No.
Okay. So what happened was an early April start to tornado season raised fears of another devastating series of twisters, also known as tornadoes, as happened in 2011. So they thought that 2011's weather pattern would continue in 2012 because 2012 started the same way with early signs of tornadoes. But what ended up happening is that it fizzled out, which means it slowly stopped. So say you're having 4 tornadoes a week, then the next week you have 2, and then by 4 weeks you have no tornadoes, and that's what happened. They were slowly stopped, and they don't know why. There's no explanation. So is that clear a little bit?
That's nature.
Yeah. All right, so would anyone want to read the last paragraph of that section?
Can I try?
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, where I must start? The combination, yes?
Yep, the combination.
Okay. The combination of an ongoing drought and a crippling heat wave throughout the summer had a lethal effect on people, animals, and crops. Nebraska experienced its driest year since record-keeping started more than a century ago, according to an OAA. Colorado suffered its worst fire season in more than a decade, with western wildfires sharing 9.15 million acres, 37,000 square kilometers as of November, according to the National Interagency Fire Center. I finished.
Yeah, that was great. So can anyone tell us what happened to this part of the country, what we referred to as the Midwest and parts of the West Coast?
Nebraska?
Yep, Midwest. So what happened to Nebraska and Colorado?
Drought.
Yeah, so drought. And then what happened because of drought?
It was death in animals and persons.
Wildfire.
Yeah, so they just, you're right, there were lethal effects on people because they lose their homes, they lose their land, farmland is ruined, animals, so animals living in the forests are taken down, and usually if you have a farm with horses and dogs and chickens, they get caught in the flames because we save people first and then we go back for the animals, usually. So what we're talking about here are destructive fires that are usually naturally caused, but sometimes people cause them from camping and having a fire. So destructive fires. Okay. And I just wanted to point out one word, which is great to know when talking about anything relating to fires, charring, and it's the blackening of something. The blackening of something. So when you have chicken or beef over an open flame and you cook it too much, it becomes black around the edges. And so we can say you charred my steak. So in this article, it's the idea that they've charred the land and it's completely black and desolate. So what I want to go down to is outlook for 2013, and so we can read that section and then talk about our predictions for 2013. All right. So would anyone like to read the first paragraph of that section? And I see that we have a senior student, so I'll paste the article here for you. Okay, please read.
Oh. Just choose anyone to read.
Are you there, Hamdi?
Yes.
Okay.
Me? Yeah.
So scroll down to Outlook for 2013.
Okay.
And then it should
Start
say...
from Superstore?
Yes.
Go past Superstorm.
Yeah.
And then you see Outlook for 2013. Instead of El Nino, NOAA predicts.
So should I start from Superstorms?
No. So you see superstorms?
Yeah.
Go below that, and you'll see a new topic start. After 6 paragraphs.
Outlook for 2013?
Yep.
Okay. Outlook for 2013. Instead of El Nino, NOAA predicts that. NOAA, this is abbreviation for what?
One of the organizations they mentioned before, it's not that important, but I'll try and find the name. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. So just an environmental group.
Predicts that the neutral phase of the El Nino La Nina southern
Oscillation
ENSO index will prevail through spring. Jokingly called La Nada, it's the middle ground between El Nino and La Nina. The pattern associated with cool water in the Equatorial Pacific.
Associated, and then equatorial. Or, yeah. Okay. So what are we talking about here? Does anyone have an idea? So what is going to happen to our weather in 2013?
The weather is more unpredictable because of the effects of the Nino and La Niña.
And what phase are we in?
I don't remember. I don't understand that.
Neutral phase.
Yes. So they're making a joke with la nada, which means nothing. So we're talking here about the combination between El Nino and La Niña. So we're combining warm temperatures and water and no rain with a lot of rain, cold temperatures. So they're saying that we're in between. We're in La Nada. So this is a weather pattern that they're not quite experienced with. Weather pattern that they are not experienced with, or not, hold on, as experienced with, because usually we are in one or the other. So we're either with El Nino or La Niña, but right now we're in La Nada, so we're in nothing. They're not sure what is going to happen. Is that easier to understand?
Yes.
Clear? Okay, great. And would anyone? Yeah, go ahead. Did you have a question? Crap. Your name, I can't read it. M and Payocho, but I don't know. Sorry. All right, so can anyone read the last two paragraphs?
The lack?
Yep.
The lack of reliable weather pattern to hang a prediction or makes forecasting harder. The temperature outlook through March indicates above normal temperatures for the southern half of the continental United States, except for coastal southern California, Florida, and part of the southeast coast, according to the National Weather Service's Climate Prediction Center. The center also predicts colder than normal temperatures in the northern Rocky Mountains, northern Great Plains, and southern Alaska.
Okay, great. So what's happening here is what Gustavo said, which is the weather is very unpredictable.
Yes.
Because of the phenomenon, because of the La Nada phenomenon. Okay, phenomenon. Okay, and so they make a prediction through March for the U.S. So for most of the U.S. Will be warmer. We'll have warmer temperatures. California, not California. They're essentially saying they have no idea, and then the Rocky Mountains are expected to be cooler. So what I want us to do is, I know we're from all over the world, and that we've all had some crazy weather happen to us in the past, either from blizzards, which is a lot of snow, or to drought, tornadoes, tsunamis. Tsunamis, yeah, hurricanes, etc. So what I want us to do is to each make a prediction about what will happen in your country or in the world. So it can be anywhere if you watch the news and you know what's happened. So for instance, my prediction is that the East Coast will have another huge hurricane hit in 2013. And our hurricane season is in September, so like August through October. So probably in September. So something along those lines. So it can be anywhere, maybe based upon what we've read or what you have seen or heard in the media. So what do you think? Does anyone have a prediction?
No, like anybody knows, the level of the sea is increasing few step by step, and the planet temperature is increased too. No, probably in the future we have a lot of storm or cyclone or something like that.
Okay. So in Spain, do you have a lot of hurricanes?
No,
or,
in Spain, never there are this type of atmospheric phenomena. For example, when the summer finishes, there are a lot of rain near Andalusia. There are a lot of rain. It causes serious problem to the city because there are several inundations. It causes losses. Never happened that the people die, but cause a lot of money losses.
Okay. And you mentioned a great point. So the sea level is constantly rising. And how did you connect that to weather? I didn't understand the next part. So how did you connect that to future weather? Manuel, the first thing you said was the sea level is constantly rising. So can you tie that in with weather at all?
No, I
didn't understand.
I understand what you said.
Okay. So I heard you say the sea level is constantly rising. And then I think you said, I think there will be more cyclones.
No, the sea level, no, the summer. And at the end of the summer, there are a lot of the raining.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, good prediction. So now I understand. Thank you. So just at the end of the summer, there's more rain. So maybe more storms will come along than just some bad weather. So maybe instead of rain, 2013, we'll have more severe storms like hurricanes, which we can also call cyclones. Okay. Does anyone else have a prediction that we can make at all?
Yeah.
Yeah? Awesome.
I think mankind has a serious problem at the time being. Climate is changed. There is a global warming. Temperature is getting increased every year. There is some small island is threatened to be submerged in the sea. Climate is changed in many different parts of the world. You can see drought in Australia. This is the first time happened since 2-3 years, I think. In my country, there is a little bit change. The summertime is more warmer. and in the winter it's more colder than the regular.
Okay. Yeah, so exactly. Temperatures are rising, and we can say, like you said, due to global warming, that phenomenon. And you mentioned the island off the coast of your country, right? Being sunk in the ocean. So temperatures are rising. Okay, so the island being submerged.
Yeah.
So what is happening then? If the temperatures are rising and the water level is increasing, what is melting?
There is many part of the world will disappear.
Yep. So temperatures are rising, and what we call the polar ice caps are melting.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Increasing the sea level. Okay. So that's a really great prediction. And there's a statistic out there that we lose 2 feet of land each year due to the increase in our sea level. So every year we lose land, but we gain population. So it's not a good system.
Yeah.
Right. So does anyone else have another prediction that we could make for 2013?
Sorry, what you say?
So does anyone else have a prediction for weather for 2013? So we have more hurricanes, we have higher temperatures, and more water, which are all coming true. So these are trends that we have already seen. Is there anything else that we can say will most definitely happen next year?
I have only risk tsunami. Now I stay in Thailand.
Be careful.
So tsunamis. Okay.
Yes, only tsunamis. In 3 years late, tsunami have 5,000 died people in Thailand.
Okay, so you would say 3 years ago.
3 years ago, yes.
3 years ago. Okay, and 5,000 people died. All right, so maybe there will be another tsunami. Hopefully not, because we don't want any more deaths. But yeah, another huge storm could happen. So we have about 10 minutes left of class. Does anyone have any questions concerning this topic? Or either concerning global warming or weather? So
I have something, please. Yeah, prediction is very difficult at this time. I think, yeah, prediction is very difficult. We don't have a pattern, okay, for weather pattern. This is nature. We couldn't predict what will going on or what will happen in tomorrow. So, yeah, it's difficult to predict.
yeah, so nature is unpredictable. So why do you think that we try to predict the weather? Why do we try to make the impossible happen by predicting what will happen tomorrow?
Teacher, I believe that nowadays people can predict through the technology. You can now predict a hurricane when it's just a storm, and through the technology, you people are able nowadays to evit people in the place that this natural disaster will happen. I guess some things can be predictable.
Yeah, so some things can be predictable. I honestly, I don't know. When you watch the weather, how accurate is it? Because for me, it is almost never correct. They can definitely tell me the temperature within 10 degrees, but I honestly feel like it's a circus act. So, you know, when you go to the circus and you have a woman or a man, and they try to guess your age, but say, okay, so I'm 23, but they can guess 10 years below and 10 years above. So they have a 20-year range, and I feel like we do that with the weather. We say what is most likely to happen, but I feel like
I think,
it's
teacher,
completely crazy. Yeah, go ahead.
I think the fact to predict a forecast is to reduce the intensity. For example, in an earthquake, you can reduce the intensity of the earthquake when you avoid to get the risk of getting to the phenomenon. You know, I think this is the fact of a forecast to try to make people to avoid the fact of the phenomenon.
Yeah, exactly. So we do it as a form of safety, and that's definitely true. So we prepare people, we prepare for the worst. Have any of you been to the U.S. in the winter at all? Or, because I don't know if this happens in your countries, but in the U.S., especially on the East Coast, we are prepared to handle snow. But I worked in a grocery store, and every time we had a blizzard warning, I swear, every single person came to the grocery store to stock up on food. So they bought everything they could. They bought hundreds of dollars of groceries in case they couldn't leave their house. And then, I mean, where I live in the U.S., it snows a couple feet. You can still go to the mall. You go shopping. You still go to the restaurants. Like, nothing bad ever happened. Sometimes it is dangerous to drive, but for the most part, you know, life goes on. So we definitely do it for preparation for the worst, and I agree with that. Definitely true. All right, so I'm just going to